You write some fucked up books, man. You seem like such a normal guy. I was always wondering, I'm like, how does someone write like this and not be a total psycho? Like the fact that you have those thoughts in your mind and you can envision and create these scenarios in your brain.
Yeah, that pops into my head a lot when I'm talking to people. Like my aunt who's passed away, but she was 93, and it's like, hey Dorothy, here's my book about sex trafficking, I hope you enjoy it. And she read it, and because my aunt, if I joined the Taliban, she'd be like, well, they have some nice clothing or something. She'd never
she'd find a positive.
She'd find a positive, so she never complained about anything. But yeah, I do run into people all the time, kids' parents, or on my soccer team, my kids' soccer team or whatever, and I'm like, I wonder what they think of me. Because
I wonder if they know.
Yeah,
like how many of them have read your book?
Yeah, it's the ones that say they've read my books, and then I kind of go like, crap.
Yeah, I get that with parents when they say they've listened to my podcast. Oh, I really love your podcast. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
I'm like, what kind of psycho stuff do we have to talk about now?
Right.
But your books are so violent. They're so it's like, for me, it's I listen to them on audio when I'm in the sauna all the time.
Oh, great.
Because the sauna is so torturous, because I keep it at 190 degrees and I'm in there for 25 minutes. It's fucking rough.
Yeah.
And it's like that kind of like the kind of insane narratives that you create, the kind of situations that you create in your mind. They're very good when you're suffering.
Yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, I have a blue collar philosophy about writing. Like, I like generating a product that people can use if their flight's delayed or they're snowed in or whatever. And I get people emailing me all the time. It's like, hey, I read your book when my mom was sick and I was at the hospital, and I like that. That it serves a sort of physical purpose. Like it's an instrument. It's not just an idea.
It's a great instrument of escapism.
Yeah.
Because it's so compelling and because the books are so interesting. And by the way, shout out to Jack Carr, because Jack Carr is the guy who turned me on to you.
That's fantastic.
Because I had read his first book and I was like, this is great. Do you have any other authors that you recommend? Like, who are you into? And then he told me about you.
Yeah, we've been friends before his first book came out. We were connected with one another through a guy in the firearms industry, and I was like, yeah, I think this guy, I read his book. I was like, yeah, he's going somewhere. Little did I know, I think he'd already had it optioned and for TV. So
he's just an awesome person too. Yeah. He's just a really great guy. I met him a few years back in elk hunting camp.
Oh, wow.
It's actually where I met him in Utah.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know who he was. I hadn't read any of his books. He gave me a copy of his book. Just seemed like a really nice guy.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and I'm like, this book is fucking great.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Got
He did
into
great
it.
with the series too. I was impressed with it. I was really impressed.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Gray Man movie, but it was not as good as your book.
Well, thank you for saying that. I appreciate
it. Just wasn't the same story.
Yeah.
Like they Hollywoodized it.
Absolutely. And I liked it, and what I say, and I don't know how this makes me sound, it's like the movie is the best possible commercial for my writing, and if you're a writer, you want eyeballs on your work, and so I love the movie, and there was bits of dialogue in there and things they did with the plot that I really liked, but it's not as gritty. It's not
not nearly.
Yeah, and they do things that they have to do shorthand in a movie. I get 100,000 words to write a book, or 150,000 words to write a book. So I have some luxuries that they don't have, putting something on the screen. But I like the fact that they're different because there's still a reason to read my book. If you saw the movie and enjoyed it, hopefully it turns you onto the book, and then you see something different in there.
No, I definitely think there's that element to it, because it's for sure a Hollywoodized version of these gritty books that you write.
Yeah.
But it's also good.
Yeah.
Like if you didn't know about the book and
Yeah.
you just saw the movie, it's good.
Yeah. They're two different things.
But the book is so much fucking nastier.
Thank you.
And also Court Gentry.
I said thank you. I don't know if that's what I should say.
You should. It's good. But Court Gentry in your books is just so much different than Ryan in the movies. It's just like...
Yeah. I mean, they did a lot without dialogue, which I appreciated and I liked. He'd do a lot with a look. But I mean, when you... In a book, you're able to get into the character's head quite a bit more. So it's a different experience.
If you could pick a person... like an actor, if you could start from scratch, no disrespect to... It's Ryan Reynolds or Ryan... Gosling.
Yeah.
Why do I always fuck that up? I always fuck that up. I couldn't pick either one of them out of a fucking lineup to save my life. Gosling. Ryan Gosling. I really like the guy too, by the way. Who would you pick if you want, if you could just like say any actor? Like who do you think you would go with?
It's a tough question because that thing has been in Hollywood. The Gray Man's been in Hollywood since 2 months before the little paperback came out in 2009. So it's been bouncing around, and I've heard every actor. At one point, Brad Pitt was signed onto it, and
really,
yeah, like back 2011 or something. And then it fell apart and it came back. And each time they would send me a script or whoever was doing it. And at one point, Charlize Theron wanted to do it. And they rewrote.
What?
They rewrote.
She wanted to be
script.
the girl?
No, she wanted to be Court Gentry.
Oh, my God.
So they wrote a script for it. And it was good screenwriters. And I remember reading the script going like.
Was it the Gray Woman or did you call her the Gray non-binary person?
It was still the Gray Man. Her name was still Court Gentry. But everything was different. And then they never really explained, is that short for Courtney or something? They never.
Oh, my God.
But it was just a completely different plot.
Thank God they didn't do that.
I thought if they changed, and I love her because she had just done Fury Road. So, I mean, I'd love to write something for her to be in.
I didn't see Fury Road.
Oh, the Mad Max.
Mad Max. Yeah, okay.
And she was so good. But as an author, you couldn't put out the Gray Man novel with her face on it, and they open the book, and it has nothing to do, with a woman. And as much as I love her, like I was like, well, this isn't gonna, sell books or get eyes in my work. The screenplay was actually really good, but I remember thinking if I went to the theater and saw it and it had a different title, I would not even know. There'd be like one scene where I'm like, oh yeah, I did a thing on a plane too. It was so different. It was a completely different plot. It was good. I wish they'd make it and call it something else.
Yeah, make it and call it something else. You don't call it the Gray Man. That's such a weird choice.
Yeah. Yeah. At one point, like real early on, when it first got optioned, people were asking me who should play the character. And I thought it would be somebody who's not like, Rambo or anything like that. Right. So I was saying like Casey Affleck or somebody like that.
Interesting.
That you wouldn't expect, in a big action film.
But wouldn't you need someone who's like physically formidable?
Yeah, I don't. The thing is I've written 12 books, and I've never once had him working out. I've never shown him.
I know.
I've never shown him working out, or even really training. Because
you talked a couple of times about him doing like calisthenics or something.
Oh yeah. I've thrown it in a little bit because I'm like, all right, how does this possibly happen?
Right.
How does he keep these perishable skills up and his fitness up? But there's actors that I really like Max Martini. I don't know if you know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
You'd know him if you saw him. He was in 13 Hours. It was a really good movie.